Hey there, and welcome to the latest edition of the SME Soup podcast, brought to you by Rakbank Business. My name's Richard Dean. I am your host, and today we've got a couple of people with us in the podcast studio. First of all, our guest is an expert on cybersecurity. He is Amir Kolahzadeh. He's the founder and CEO of ITSEC based in the UAE. Amir, good to see you. Thanks very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
And also joining me on the pod today to help interrogate Amir to make sure he answers the questions that really matter to small businesses here in the UAE. We've got Tom Baxendale, Head of Digital for Business Banking at Rakbank. Tom, good to have you with us.
Pleasure.
Right then, let's jump straight into it. Amir, I was looking at your notes before we met today, and you start with this. Cybercrime is on the rise with AI playing a significant role. What does that mean for small businesses in the UAE?
Fantastic question. Previously, before this couple of years, before the AI was, so you got people writing emails. I'm going to give you just a very simple example. The phishing emails that you used to get, right? From Rakbank, from MBD, for any other banks that you get. They were full of mistakes, grammars, spelling. The tone was not right. Us as expert, we could spot it on. I looked at it and said, that's a phishing email, don't click on it. Today, I have a hard time to tell if that's a real email or not, unless I actually sit up behind my computer, open the link in a safe browser to see if it's going to Rakbank or not. So AI has given the cyber criminals the tools that they can refine and tune even the tone. The way Rakbank writes an email and MBD writes an email is completely different. They can actually find that tone and write it in that exact tone. So that is scary. That gives the cyber criminals the tools that they didn't have before. Culture, language, all played before, because most cyber criminals obviously are not coming from English-based countries. So they always struggled with the English language. Today, AI has taken away that factor and has given them definitely a score on that. But on the other side, it has given us, the cybersecurity experts, the actual power, the tools to actually better our human errors that we didn't see before. But definitely at the moment, the AI is playing on their side than ours. So that is why we see the sophistication of the attacks much more bigger and the rise of the attacks faster, because they can come up with better methods to attack faster.
Okay, so how does this impact small businesses? And maybe we should start even with a definition in your world, because you serve the mom and pops up through to the enterprise, the Mag 7 companies and governments. How do you define small businesses, and how does this relate to them specifically?
Right. In our world, anything that below 10,000 employee is a SME. It's a small business. And then if you want to get the E out of it and just look at the small businesses, anything under 5,000 employee is a small business, right? In our world, in the cybersecurity world. Because below that number, whether you have 10 employees or 5,000 employees, the same services, the same processes, the same technology has to be deployed to protect you. Either you don't have it or you have to do it all. So it's really black and white, and that's how we define it.
Right, going to bring in Tom Baxendale now. Tom, from a Rakbank perspective, from a digital banking perspective, what are some of the issues you're looking at?
So it's not just the number of threats that are now occurring; it's the types of threats that we're seeing.
Right.
You mentioned phishing emails, but there's also a number of different types of vulnerability that are open to small businesses.
Correct.
Can you talk to us a bit more about the types of threats that they might see?
Sure, definitely. One, obviously, the phishing email is a starter, is the hook. The most sophisticated one is actually the social engineering that we were actually talking about right before the podcast. Social engineering is one of the most sophisticated and dangerous attacks on small businesses. With AI, I can actually write a script that I didn't have before. I can actually do search, and AI can come up with a script. I can make a call to Microsoft to find out how they answer the phone, or when they call me, what that script is, and plug it in. I can have the AI on voice record and call Microsoft and record that and tell AI to come up with different scripts. That's scary right there. The other methods, obviously, the whole, hey, guy in the garage trying to access your PC, it's still there, but it's probably 10% of the attacks. 90% of the attacks today concentrate around social engineering. Hello, I'm calling from Dubai police. That's it.
That's 90% of it.
That's 90% of the attacks are around social engineering, because I can't say 100%, but majority of companies, majority of people have learned to secure their devices. Okay, and if you haven't today, you deserve to get hacked. I'm sorry, I say that as an expert, because I mean the awareness is there, right? So as a company, even the small company have learned to put some kind of an antivirus, some type of a protection there, right? And it is now difficult. Even major telecoms are putting measures in to prevent attacks remotely, right? In order to attack a CEO of a company, all I got to do is get to the secretary and get her to give me remote access to her PC, because 90% of the CEOs, even me, I guilty. As my secretary knows all my passwords, and guess what? She probably saves them on the note on her computer.
Does that still happen?
It happens with me, and I gotta scream at her every time. So I buy this expensive password protector, encryptor, and we put in there, and I find a note on her PC with my password again. It happens, even in my company.
So would it be wrong to say then that a main way that you can try and reduce the amount of risk is education?
There you go.
So there's the technical side. I need my gateways secured. I need technology to protect me there. But then social engineering is on the rise over here. I need to educate my people.
There you go.
As a small business, what things can I do to educate my own staff and people that work?
Our logo is a triangle. It stands for processes, people, and technology. That's how you protect an enterprise or yourself or home. Today, one of the things that obviously this doesn't fall into the SMEs, but we have actually come up with a package around the high net worth individuals that are coming to Dubai. They are under attack. You have no idea how bad. I mean, they are being spear phishing. Do you know that terminology?
I've heard it, but go on. Give us the elevator pitch on spear
Phishing is when I come after the entire ARN network, right? And the TCOM and Dubai, hoping something comes in my net and I pull it up, right? Spear phishing, when I'm coming after Richard Dean, whatever. You specifically particularly take a person and you write the scripts and come up with a method to attack that person. That could happen to a business. ARN, Rakbank, we usually, that's hard for the financial gain cyber criminals. That's mostly a political gain or something like that. But definitely, going back, cyber awareness education is on the top of the list.
And this is something that we do particularly, and we're very proud of doing at Rakbank. We're very proactive in communicating to our customers these types of threats. I think a couple went out this week, as a matter of fact. And we're the only bank in the UAE that sends these communications out in 6 different languages. So we leave no stone unturned in terms of educating our customers and saying these threats are on the rise.
That's
Please
beautiful.
be aware.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's the right thing to do. But unfortunately, I see one big problem. And this is something that we try to, haven't found the solution, but we really try. I grew up in San Diego, California, LA, San Francisco, US, London. What do we do there? When we go there, when I go back home, I wear my jacket like this. I make sure my wallet is not in my back pocket. It's somewhere hidden. But what do we do?
You don't wear that watch, do you?
You can't wear that watch. Seriously. You got to roll up your windows at the spot, a stoplight, and you got to be looking like this. You don't get hijacked. It's because of the environment we live in. Because the UAE provides us with amazing security. I have seen that us as people inherently take that security offline and take it online. Because I think that, if I leave my wallet on the restaurant, on the top of a gas pump, which I've done with 100,000 in cash, I can go back 3 days later and they give it back to me. I get more relaxed online as well. That's why UAE has this problem. It's the psychology of me. I'm secure in my home. I'm secure in the street. I get more relaxed. I pay less attention to communications from the bank, right? Or the cybersecurity my company bought me from ITSEC, and they make me take it, and they want to give me a certificate, which again, I don't pay attention to. I see that in Europe or in US, the cybersecurity awareness takes better effect because people are just on the defense from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. and maybe possibly in their homes. We're not. We're not playing defensive here at all in our physical lives outside. I mean, this is the best country to live in. I mean, we all know that. That's why we're all here. And I feel, talking to so many people in 20 years doing this out here, that mentality, that feeling of comfort and safety, it just moves on to your behavior online. And that's something that I think us as a community got to come together and try to convey that, listen, just because you're physically safe here and you don't have the threats that you have in Europe or the States or any other countries or all other countries, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're safe online.
Okay, so 90% of it is if we educate ourselves to behave responsibly and do the right thing, that will keep us safe. But of course, there's the 10% of the very sophisticated hacks that don't target my failings as a human being, that are just going after whatever it may be, whether it's our databases and it's ransomware or whatever else it may be, hacking into our bank accounts, whatever it may be. What about those threats, particularly for small businesses at the moment as we sit here in late 2024?
Right. Small business have a fiduciary duty to safeguard customer data and themselves. If they're not doing it because of budget constraints, that's what we hear all day long. Hey, give us a quotation. No, sorry, too beyond our budget. They're going to get hacked. And you working with them as a consumer, you are at risk. So we had a campaign a few years ago about mobile apps. You know, the mobile apps go crazy here, right? Everybody's putting a mobile app, put it on App Store. Obviously, yes, Google and Apple both have some type of security clearance that they do, but it's really doesn't make the mobile app secure. So we went and did a campaign that says, hey, before you put your credit card in there, ask your mobile, that application provider do they have a cybersecurity certificate, right? So I guess it comes down to regulations at that point, right? If the government is implementing and putting rules in place, right, for different industries. Let's take the IFC, for example. I think that plays lots of small businesses and enterprises there. One of the best regulated places in the world. They're not joking.
It's a big statement.
It's one of the best regulated places in the world. They don't allow your fintech app. I'm doing business with them every day. All these fintech guys go and get a license there. First of all, get a license. They kill you. I mean, they make sure that you have disclosed everything about everything, which is fantastic. There's just no stone unturned. That's from the compliancy standpoint. The second is that if you have technology, you have to go through the steps. You have to bring third-party certifications that your software is secure, your data is segregated. The rules that are in place in the IFC are not, I wish they were in the whole country. Obviously, yes, I agree. That will definitely stop the wheel of business to a grind. I agree. But there has to be a balance somewhere between safety and security and business continuity.
So let's just double click on that. The government in the UAE is setting federal rules and regulations to say this is how you're supposed to act in terms of cybersecurity. Here are some of the threats, providing education to businesses as well. What role do you think the government plays more broadly in cybersecurity? And what things do you think need to happen in the future?
For small businesses we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right? I think at the moment their rules are not being enforced. I think government can play a better role in enforcing those rules. But I think everybody is struggling with finding the balance between not shutting the businesses down and ensuring data safety. So I think all governments are struggling with that, and I think they're finding ways to deal with that.
It's an ever-evolving thing.
It's an evolving threat, of course.
We've probably covered 2 or 3 of the types of threats, but they keep evolving and growing as time goes on.
But if you look at the infrastructure, the type of the threats might be different, but how they happen usually are similar. But certain industries have definitely, like the IFC we were talking about, fintech, crypto, where personal information and banking information are there. KYC, you got my passport all the way to my Emirates ID and my money. I mean, this is a gold mine, right? I mean, somebody gets that, they're good to go. So there, yes, regulation is being implemented and is being enforced, and that's something that puts UAE on #1 list of all countries that who's doing that. Singapore is way distant #2. UAE is definitely one of the best countries. That's why I said DIFC, one of the best regulated financial free zones in the world. I haven't seen anyone else. In other financials, they're like, oh, okay, can you get it 6 months later? Okay, we'll give you time to do it. And that's the problem, not enforcing it.
Now let's pull these threads together with some how-to guides. What to do if the worst happens and you do get hacked. And I know because I've been there through a small business email compromise, and the bank was great actually in Dubai, and Dubai police were really good. I mean, they went on for a year looking for the bad guys, and they got them. So I've had a bad experience. No one wants to be hacked, but I've had a good experience in terms of a resolution. But what to do when you get hacked? The tech perspective and the banking perspective.
You want to go first?
Sure. From the tech perspective, it really depends. Is it your banking? Is it your phone? I mean, disconnect. You gotta disconnect. Report to the bank, to the police, just like you did. And the faster you do it, the higher chance that the culprit could be caught. Obviously, changing your passwords, that would be #1 thing to do, right? If you fell for the whole give me your OTP or open your UAE pass and you realize it later, immediately getting back on there and changing the pass or informing the bank. You need to inform obviously the banking system to stop, even if you lost money, so there won't be possible second withdrawals from the bank. But if you get hacked and it's happened, probably you're never going to see that money coming back. So we see that every day, unfortunately.
Tom, what would be your thoughts? What would be your advice? Small businesses listening to this, watching this.
So there's multiple different things that we as Rakbank like to put in place. So on the individual side, from a digital angle, if you see a suspicious transaction, you have the ability to block that card, block that transaction. Immediately, what we say is communicate with the bank. And there's multiple different service channels where you can do that. We've got chat, we've got voice. You can speak to your RM, you can go into branch. There's many different avenues, very well-trained people that can help support you, and they will look after their account and look after you as a customer. I think for us, we're very, very secure, multi-layer security, bank-level security, authentication biometrics, full bank-grade standard. But it is a lot about education, understanding what types of threats are out there, understanding what looks suspicious and what doesn't look suspicious, and being very on your toes with what types of threats are there in the market currently.
And I'd finish with, what are the 3 things small businesses in the UAE should do today to protect themselves?
First, bring on an expert to educate your staff about the threats. It's not a big expense. It definitely will pay itself. Look at your infrastructure and look at how you do business. If people are not trained, if the accounts are not trained, you had an experience with the fake email, obviously transaction thing, right?
Fell for it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. People for that. But the cybersecurity awareness, Tom actually pointed out, it actually teaches you that. We have our videos and slides that actually shows you how to spot a fake link. That's #1. Education in small business is the biggest thing, because as I said, the line of attack is actually people, not the technology. Processes. Fix your processes. Okay. Have you guys seen? Hey, I'm sick. Buy me $200 or $200 worth of Apple cards. Have you seen that hack? That's been going on for years out here. So they get my email. They send my staff an email, and we get them. The funny is that we get them all the time. Hi, this is Amir, guys. I'm not coming to the office. And it instructs one of the guys in finance or one of the ladies in finance, could you run down to the store and give me 2,000 dirhams of Apple gift cards and send? Oh yeah. And you know how many people actually fall for that? Because they fake my email with one character or a dot in between my name and my last name.
So it looks like it's a message from the boss.
From me. Yes. So education, cybersecurity awareness a simple trading, 15 minutes can actually fix that. You're not too busy for that. So then technology, yes, upgrade your technology. Don't buy a home internet and use it in your office. If you do not have the budget and you're staying at a lower, that small of a business, you are a target, you will be hacked. You have to put some risk mitigation plan together. Okay, I don't have the budget for this, but if I do get hacked, what do I do?
If I remember these 3 things, if I'm cautious and aware of these things, you will.
And that you can download from the internet. You don't need to pay for it. So you can download a risk mitigation plan for your small business off of Googling it and be prepared. Okay, if you don't have the budget, have a plan if you do get hacked, because you will get hacked. It's just a matter of time.
Amir, we're going to have to leave it there. Appreciate your time. Thanks very much indeed. Amir Kolahzadeh of ITSEC. Appreciate your time. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Tom Baxendale of Rakbank. Good to have you on the pod.
Thank you.
Thanks very much indeed. That is it for this edition of the SME Souk podcast. Do join us for the next one.